I still have a hard time thinking about predetermination and our actions. If Allah has everything written, then why bother try? And if we do try to achieve something and we don't get it, does that mean it's always a productivity issue, or is that something more in general? Is it something that things are not written? What does it really mean to have things in our Qadr? What does Qadr essentially mean? What does it mean to believe in Tawakkul? All these questions I really had to deep dive in. I'm still learning about them. And the main core idea of this was, you in life try different things, but a lot of things work, a lot of things don't. And when you're stuck, you're trying all the things you can to achieve a result, and it's still not happening. You just start questioning things. Like, you just want to feel like, why is it not happening? And then when you also believe in Islam, you have to understand the core principles of Islam. One of them is tawakkul, and what does it mean to have tawakkul, all that jazz. So we're just going to discuss that in this video. I used to try really hard to get certain things, and just like anyone else, try hard, the world rewards you for trying hard, and that is true. But what part of it is Allah's will and what part of it is your action? So questions like that. In Islam, we're told to believe in tawakkul, which is you do what you can and leave the rest to Allah. And as I say this, it sounds very simple, and it sounds simple because I thought about that a lot, where it's like you do everything you can and then surrender yourself to Allah for the outcome. And it also means making dua to Allah. It also means the fact that you're surrendering the outcome, where He ultimately decides if things are right for you or not, and He will give you a better path, if anything, if things don't work. And when I was thinking about this, it all sounded very paradoxical and not necessarily something that my feeble brain could understand. And what made it even worse was the fact that the world teaches us to be in a certain way, where the world teaches us, you should manifest your future, you should, you have the power to build your own destiny, and you can literally bend reality if you work hard, do all this jazz. And to an extent, it's very, you have to work hard. It's not like you can't work hard and you just sit still and things are just going to come your way. So with that said, Islam just adds added piece of that. You have to work hard and surrender yourself to Allah in this case. Make dua, make supplication, have a very sincere heart in taking action. Don't be coping. Don't be oh, I'm not getting this result, and you haven't taken any action at all. And it's just this piece where we are in control of our actions, but Allah has to ultimately will that outcome to happen. So you still have to take action. With that said, a couple of questions that I had. Isn't Allah's will versus my action a contradiction? If you think about it, you're in control of your action, but at the same time, Allah is in control of your destination, in a way, where you're going. So how does that make sense? How are you, does your actions even relate to, even affect your destination? So in a broad perspective, when I think about it, and the example that I can best give in this case, or thought about as I researched this topic, was about GPS system, Google Maps. You set a destination and it tells you the way to go, and you go there, and it's you're the one driving the car in towards that road. You're making a left, a right turn, and the destination is the same. You could take multiple different routes. You could take route A, route B, or route C, but you're still gonna get to the same destination. So it's kind of in the broad spectrum, that destination piece that is set up, and the action is your way of navigating. And you just need to you have your choices if you want to take a left or right. Sometimes it might have a shortcut. But that's essentially what it's Allah's will versus your action. It is not a contradiction. It's more Allah knows your route, but you're still the one moving. So we still have the power of choice. And then question 2 is, if it's all written, am I powerless? That's something that I feel a lot of us probably think about or struggle with, where it's why bother trying if everything's written? And if everything is written, we're meant to get destination, we're meant to get something, should we just stay still and have it come to us? Well, the answer to that is, Islam doesn't teach helplessness. We are commanded to act, we are commanded to take action to get whatever it is that we desire. And Qadr is not an excuse for sitting still. We are commanded to tie our camel and trust in Allah, not just leave the camel hanging. So with that said, if it's all written, you are not powerless. You still have the decision of choice, and you have to take sincere action. Like you can't just be essentially a dumbass and just like stay there thinking, oh, it's gonna all happen. Like question 3 is, should I stop trying if I don't get the results? This one hit me a bit personally because I would just try different times on different things, and like sometimes I would get it, sometimes I'm not. Well, the way I think about it is, should I stop trying if I don't see results? Well, this is one of the topics where I'm just like struck, like how far, like when do I know to stop and when do I know not to stop? So things like that is where, like, if you are taking all the action in the world, you're taking sincere action, did everything, and you're not coping. Like sometimes people cope. Like I used to cope a lot. Like I still cope maybe times where I'm just like, oh, I did this, but then I realized like, oh, I have so many other things I could have taken. And so try from different angles and see if anything happens. And rejection might just be redirection. That's essentially what we're taught. And if it's not meant to be, that means something else is there for you, or something better is there for you. At the same time, you don't want to be giving up too early. It's a balance of your gut feeling. That's my opinion in this case. Question 4 is, if everything's written, can things really be changed? Like am I really helpless in terms of where I'm going with my destination? And the answer to that is no, you're not helpless. You can change what's written. And for that, you just have to submit to Allah and make dua and take action. Like you just have to stop coping and do whatever you can, make dua. Like if you do whatever you can, like you know if you doing everything you can, and it's just a self-respect thing. Like you just have to respect yourself enough to where you tell yourself that yes, I am doing everything I can and I'm not bullshitting myself in this case. Question 5 is, how does this fit with what the world thinks about success? And the world says grind hard, hustle 24/7, manifest it and you will get it. Islam says hustle but stay humble, work but remember that Allah is the one that opens the doors. In this case, like it's just an added piece of surrendering to Allah. Like you have to work hard. It's the same thing that works across the world and like teachings of Islam. Like you have to work hard. You cannot not work hard. Work hard, work smart, everything, all that jazz, just do it. Also the other thing is, work smart only works if the people that you're working with aren't smart to begin with. So it's like you have to still work hard. So if you're working with smart people, they're also working smart. So the only catalyst here, or the only difference here to actually move you forward, is to work hard. So you can't change your, like, what's written. You have to make dua about it. And it's something that's spoken about in the Quran. The Prophet Muhammad SAW also speaks about this. And your actions and your dua can shift how your life unfolds. So if you were meant to be broke in a way, but you took action, you gain knowledge, you made dua, you hustled with sincerity, Allah has the power to change your destination, to change your path. And you don't know what's written, so you can't say that, oh, I was, like, you know, my standards are here, my things are here, my belief is this, like, I'm gonna get this. And that's fair. You want to have, like I guess, confidence and like a drive, but you do not know what's been written. So don't guess it, or don't think you know better than Allah in this case. Question 6, how do I know when to keep going versus when to let go? Well, this one is subtle, and if you're pursuing something and it aligns with your values, you have taken real actions, you have made dua, you're not chasing ego or escape, then keep going, be persistent. Allah loves those who keep trying with sabr. Now, dua that you should make to Allah is, if something is meant for me, make it easy for me and make it where I can receive it with my hands open. The way to think about it is, if something is meant for me, you will see the path will be a lot more easier. The dua that you should make is like, Allah, if this is good for me, make it easy and bless it. And if it's bad, take it away and give me better. And that's the balance. That's really effort with submission. So essentially the entire purpose of this video is to just understand the concept of tawakkul, which is effort with submission. So you have to take effort to get the result that you want, and then you submit to Allah to get that result. And so the ultimate power is like, it's a dual street where it's like you have to take effort and Allah also has to allow it for it to happen. So the closing remark for this video is, we are in control of our actions. So we are in control of our inputs. As for the outputs, that is something that is dictated by a dual, like your action as well as Allah's will. And Allah's will is the one that trumps everything else. So you have to take action, and you also have to believe in Allah to provide that result that you're looking for. Final piece would be, do whatever you can and leave the rest to Allah. That is the definition of tawakkul. Cheers.